everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the DC Collectibles, DC Essentials, Knightfall Catwoman figure. I've been looking forward to this figure for a long time, as Knightfall is one of my favorite books. As I was a kid, Knightfall was one of the first graphic novels I got. I was already into Batman from several different various reasons, but that was what really got me into reading the comics and introduced me to a lot of the other characters. This here is Catwoman in her purple suit she wore in the 90s. She wore this in her solo Catwoman series. Always a pretty cool favorite look of mine because it's from an era of comics that I really like. So let's go and check out the packaging here. DC Collectibles, direct from the source, meaning the DC, the company actually makes these. This is the 22nd figure in the line. So you got the DC Comics logo up there. DC Essentials, Knightfall Catwoman. She's in there, she's got no accessories, but she looks pretty cool so far. One side here, Catwoman posed up, the actual figure. Other side here, nothing really going on. The top, got a sort of a Catwoman logo. At the bottom, there is a barcode in case anybody needs it, as well as some credits. And then on the back side, you can see Catwoman here, as well as the rest of the wave. We've got Sinestro, Hal Jordan, and Knightfall Batman. Knightfall Batman is the only other one I have interest in this wave, as my collection is predominantly Batman related. So with no further ado, let's open her up. And this figure came with a big haul of figures from DCBService.com. That stands for Discount Comicbookservice.com. I use them to get all my DC Collectible figures because DC Collectibles charges $28 a figure, but I can get them for 33% off if I pre-order ahead of time. So I got each of these figures for $19 each from DCBService.com. And I did get two of each of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and one of which to keep in my complete 6 and 7 inch Batman-related action figure collection that are unopened. Here they are, taking their rightful place in front of my Batman comics, with some of the other DC Essentials figures, and other recently acquired Batman action figures. Now, I've always been a big fan of the Batman Knightfall saga, and I know not everybody is. Some people think it's stupid or gimmicky, and I'll say it is kind of gimmicky. Batman gets his back broken, he gets replaced by a different character, not Bruce Wayne, acting as Batman. That is not something I'm particularly fond of, but this is the first time they've ever done something like this. This was sort of Batman's answer to the death and return of Superman, but they did it better. In Knightfall, they explore Batman becoming weakened over the years of crime fighting. He's on the verge of exhaustion. He finally gets beaten. Someone figures out his identity who's just about as smart as him. It's a pretty good saga. I like this period of comics in the 90s. Tim Drake Robin, the artwork was good. The way they portrayed the villains and wrote Bane was excellent. You had all Batman's rogues, which is pretty cool. In front of you here are two graphic novels that I still have from when I was a kid. Here's Knightfall Part 1. You can even see it's got stains on it. It's all beat up. This is the same one I had from my childhood. And here we go, Knightfall Book 2, when Azrael takes over. And then here in front of you are some new releases of the Knightfall saga. From left to right, we've got Prelude to Knightfall, all the books leading up to it. This includes Killer Croc fighting Bane, Bane injecting Riddler with Venom, all kind of stories that are showing Batman's exhaustion leading up to Knightfall. Then we've got Knightfall Volume 1, Knightfall Volume 2, Night Quest, The Crusade Volume 1, and I do actually believe there are two other Night Quest books I need to get to complete this saga. And we've got Batman Knight's End. And of course, I have all the single issues of Knightfall as well. This saga went between Batman, Detective Comics, and Shadow of the Bat. This led up to Batman number 500, which is a pretty big deal. 500 issues of Batman, different person besides Bruce Wayne, donning the mantle of the Bat. All the rogues you can imagine. Pretty cool saga. I also have all the single issues from Night Quest, both The Crusade and The Search. Night Quest The Crusade was all about Azrael as Batman and his activities. And Night Quest The Search was all about a broken Bruce Wayne searching for purpose and for some healing. This story went between Batman Comics, Detective Comics, Shadow of the Bat, Legends of the Dark Knight, Robin, and Justice League Task Force. And of course, I'm not going to have the Knightfall and Night Quest saga without also having Night's End. Here are all the single issues for Night's End. During Night Quest, Bruce Wayne, as he was crippled, was traveling the world. He ended up healing himself, and he had decided to let Jean-Paul Valley continue as Batman until he found out that Jean-Paul Valley had crossed the line and was killing people. He came back, overthrew Jean-Paul Valley, and became Batman again. And Jean-Paul Valley actually became his ally as Azrael in the future comics. Night's End went between Batman, Detective Comics, Shadow of the Bat, Legends of the Dark Knight, Robin, and Catwoman books. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here she is with all of her accessories laid out. And that's kind of a joke, as she comes with no accessories. It would have been really nice if she had maybe a pair of gripping hands, as well as a whip. Very appropriate for Catwoman of this time period. So this is Catwoman from Knightfall. Not only from Knightfall, but from her entire 90s solo issue run. She wore the purple outfit in that, and I must say I've been waiting for a proper purple outfitted Catwoman for a long time. So let's go ahead and check her out. Got the real tall boots going all the way up to her thighs. Purple outfit. You can see the stomach muscles there. Big old chest, just like the 90s comics. She's got claws on her hands. It looks really cool. But I do wish we had two different pairs of hands for her. I've got a ton of whips I can give this Catwoman, but I'm going to have to find a pair of hands that can hold them. Let's look at her face here. She looks pretty good. The paint is pretty crisp for the most part. Like the ears. She's got her flowing hair on the back there. Looks like it's probably going to hinder a little bit of head articulation. Overall, must say I'm liking this figure a lot. And then here's the figure broken down as far as she can go, with all of her removable parts detached. While she doesn't come with any traditional accessories, the hands pop off with complete ease. You don't have to heat anything up, and unlike Batman, her head doesn't pop off with ease. Really frustrating to have swappable hands, but no hands to swap them with. DC Collectibles, please, some gripping hands on this Catwoman is completely necessary. I do like the scratching hands, but she needs to be able to hold her whip, and frankly needs to come with a whip as well. And so here's a pair of gripping hands that will actually work with this Catwoman figure and allow her to hold an accessory. These hands came off the DC Collectibles Arkham Knight Catwoman figure, and it's great to have the option of swapping out some gripping hands, but frankly I want to keep these gripping hands with this Arkham Knight Catwoman. I prefer gripping hands. This Catwoman needs to be able to hold accessories as well, so I'm going to have to look through my fodder pile and try to find something else. But in the meantime, here she is holding another Catwoman's whip with these Arkham Knight gripping hands. This Catwoman definitely should have come with a whip and a pair of holding hands. My God, that is something she always used in the 90s comics. And here's an absolute ton of different whips I have in my action figure world. Most of these came with Catwoman figures. A couple of them came with some other various figures and ended up in my Catwoman whip bag. A lot of choices for accessories that I can add to this figure. Next, let's check out a couple of other accessories I had lying around that I thought would work great for this Catwoman. Here she is, getting ready to throw some bolas. Here she is with a couple of duffel bags full of money. These came with a Mezco Breaking Bad Heisenberg figure. These are absolutely great. Catwoman used stuff like this in the Hush storyline. She used them in the Arkham City game. All kind of great uses for a master cat thief like her with duffel bags full of money. Bear in mind that all the accessories we've looked at so far will require her to have gripping hands to utilize. So next I took this backpack from the DC Universe Classics Purple Catwoman. Want to see if it would fit around her. Unfortunately, she's a little bit too big for it. So between both her hair obstructing the backpack and the overall thickness of the figure, you simply can't fasten it to the back. And then here's Catwoman as she is in Catwoman's apartment. This is sort of my Catwoman lair or display shelf for Catwoman. You can see she got a whole bunch of cats on the ground, bunch of diamonds down there, her little makeup stand right here with a necklace, as well as what appears to be some earrings and a jewelry box, her bed in the background, lamp, bunch of cats, a couple of her recent trophies or acquisitions in the back there, even more cats around the corner, and then we even have all of her dressers and whatnot as we go through her apartment. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at this figure, as well as some accessories you can use to enhance this figure, next let's check out the height of this figure. So from bottom to top, she's sitting at about 6.5 inches tall, which will translate to about 16.5 centimeters. Next, let's check out her articulation, and I must say, it is pretty nice. So starting with her head here, it can rotate around from side to side. I do notice the hair can actually go over the shoulder, allowing her head to go completely backwards. Her neck can go this far down, which is pretty impressive. I would imagine it would go up some, but her hair is obstructing that. Shoulders here in a ball joint and go out pretty much a full 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. She's got a bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. Go in about that far. Her wrist here can rotate around and it's hinged as well. She's got a ball joint in her torso area here. Allows her to rotate from side to side and allows her to bend down, up and down quite a bit, giving her a very large range of motion in her torso here. Legs go out just about 90 degrees, not quite, but pretty close. Ball joint side of there. Then go forward that much, a full 90 degrees, which is quite pleasant and surprising. Then go back, really not at all. She does have a thigh cut right where her boot goes up to, camouflage very nicely. Double joint knees below that. She's got a shin cut below that. Then her feet here, then go forward about that far, back about that far. They can sort of rotate and rock, sort of combo style a little bit, as you can see there. Next, let's check out the reuse of this figure. Here's the DC Essentials Catwoman next to a DC Essentials Cheetah figure, and they share a lot of similarities. So let's start at the bottom here. Their feet, definitely different. Catwoman's got some boots on. Cheetah has no shoes, barefoot, you can see her toenails. Then as we go a little bit higher, I would say their legs are 100% identical, just painted differently. I would say their crotch and stomach area is 100% the same as well. Cheetah has this little belting added on top, as well as her necklace. I would even say the arms are 100% identical as well, just painted differently. And you know what, that's actually, yeah, I'd say fully accurate right there. The hands are also identical. So these two figures here are literally exactly the same except repainted, minus the head, the feet, and then Cheetah has a little tail area added on that Catwoman does not have. The DC Essentials line is huge on reuse and repaints, and you know what? I think it works great. This Catwoman looks considerably different than Cheetah. I really don't notice the reuse very much, and it works great for both figures. Next, let's check her out compared with some other action figures, starting off with the other DC Essentials figures that I have. Here she is with the DC Essentials Knightfall Batman. This was the only other figure in this wave that I was interested in, as my collection is predominantly Batman related. These guys are both 90s classic versions of these characters, not only from Knightfall, but from the issues before and afterwards. This is one of my favorite Batman figures there is out there, possibly my #1 Batman figure. And this Catwoman definitely ranks up there. I really like this purple outfit look. When I was a kid reading the comics in the 90s, these were my Batman and Catwoman looks. And with Catwoman here measuring about 6.5 inches, she's really going to work with both 6 or 7-inch action figure lines. Here she is next to the figures I got from Series 1 of DC Essentials. As my collection is predominantly Batman related, I simply got Batman and Deathstroke, passed on Flash and Reverse Flash, even though they're very nice figures. And I did not get any figures from DC Essentials Series 2, and at this point I regret not getting the Superman. Out of DC Essentials Series 3, I simply got Cheetah, not really a Batman character, but she looked absolutely gorgeous, and I thought I could have her team up with Catwoman or Catman from time to time. And then Series 4 was a complete Bat-related wave. And next they released a DC Essentials Red Hood. This was a single figure release without a traditional wave. There are some more Bat-related DC Essentials figures on the horizon. We've got a New 52 Batman and Nightwing. We've got a deceased Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn. And I'm really hoping this line continues and we get some more reveals at Toy Fair in a couple weeks. Here she is next to the entire DC Collectibles Doomsday Clock Watchmen line. While these guys are not technically DC Essentials figures, they sure share the same body type and articulation as the DC Essentials figures. To me, if nothing else, they're at least a spin-off of the DC Essentials line. Here she is next to the previously released Knightfall figures from DC Direct. This was a 5-figure wave that DC Direct made probably about 15 years ago. These figures are a little bit bigger than the DC Essentials figures, but God, these things are gorgeous to look at. They're definitely less articulated than DC Essentials. At this point, I really wish I'd gotten the Azrael as Batman figure as well. Bane, Nightwing, Catwoman look great. Mask of Tengu Batman is okay. I got 3 of the Mask of Tengu Batmans because in my headcanon, I used these guys for Lady Shiva ninjas. And that kind of works because this is the outfit that Bruce Wayne wore while Lady Shiva was retraining him. Now I must say, this purple Catwoman from DC Direct looks great. She's a little taller than the DC Essentials one. I must say, I think she looks better overall, but she is quite a bit less articulated. Here is a closer look at the two of them together. Like I said, in my opinion, the old DC Direct purple Catwoman looks a little better than the new one, but there are definitely pros and cons to both. Overall, I prefer the DC Essentials one as she can move a whole lot more. Next, let's check her out compared to some other Catwoman figures. Here she is with a whole bunch of other DC Direct and DC Collectibles Catwoman figures. Here she is next to all the different Mattel Catwoman figures that I have. And here with a couple of Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods Catwoman figures. Here she is with a Yamato Catwoman figure. Yamato is an old Japanese import line from at least 15 years ago. They were poorly articulated, looked pretty good, and came with some cool accessories. And here she is with a couple Kenner Catwoman figures. And then next to a DST, or Diamond Select Toys, Selena Kyle from the TV show Gotham. Here she is with all the different Catwoman figures I have in my collection together. And it looks like I forgot to include my Catwoman Dark Knight Trilogy action figures. From left to right here, we've got Mafex 1.0, Mafex 2.0, SH Figure Arts, of course the DC Essentials Knightfall Catwoman in the center. Then we've got Mattel Movie Masters, and Hot Toys. And here's a figure that I use as Selena Kyle. This is her after she's come home, still in her Catwoman outfit, but has taken her mask off. This is a figure from Danger Girl, and it worked perfect, as the outfit is almost exactly like the Hush black outfit she wore in the comics. And in case you're wondering how she fits in with the new McFarlane DC Multiverse action figures, here they are. She's a little bit shorter than them. She's probably about the height that Batgirl should have been in the McFarlane line. Next, let's check her out compared with some different various action figure lines from different companies to see how she fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix her with. Here she is with some of her DC Direct and DC Collectibles brothers and sisters. In front of you are 5 different action figures from DC Direct and DC Collectibles. And here she is with some action figures from DST, or Diamond Select Toys. And now, here she is with some McFarlane Toys figures. Here she is with some NECA figures. And then with some Mattel wrestling figures. Then with some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods figures. And then next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here she is with some Mafex figures. And here with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And then next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. Then next to some Jazzwares figures. Now I must say, this is an absolutely fantastic Catwoman figure. Catwoman in a purple suit is one of my favorite looks, as when I was a kid reading Batman comics. This was the Catwoman that had her solo run alongside Batman and Detective Comics. Not only that, but this figure is articulated very nicely and looks very good. She has the same problems as Batman from this wave. No alternate hands, no way to hold anything, and that really sucks. There are some options out there, but you really shouldn't have to do them, especially with a figure that retails at $28. You should not have to make upgrades like that simply to hold an item. If I were to rate this figure, I'd give her a solid 8 out of 10, even with the hand issues. This figure looks great. This figure is articulated great. Her paint job is crisp. I like almost everything about her. Really hoping that DC Essentials makes more Knightfall figures. That would be excellent. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.